1340 96.5 KVGC on the phone. Douglas Viviani of Everything Old is New Again. Tonight at 6 o'clock. Again tomorrow night at 6. He and David Cohen examine our pop culture, where it came from, why it's still popular. And these guys definitely do make radio fun again. So, Douglas, good morning. Welcome. And how goes it in your world today?
It's not so bad. Good morning. It's great to be here. The question is, I don't know, are we interested in digging up some treasure? It looks like so on television. There's 3 shows now that are going strong with some treasure hunts here. That Curse of Oak Island is the first one. That's heating up pretty good. Have you seen the latest?
Well, I again, JD and I were, he came to work on Wednesday and said, if your buddy hadn't, that's what he said, if your buddy hadn't said they were going to find something significant, I don't think I'd still be watching.
Right.
I said, oh, interesting.
But, the thing is, he's invested like 7 seasons in this thing. I definitely understand the sentiment, but it's like be breaking up with somebody for a long time. It's hard to do. You know what I mean? Because the minute you stop watching, there'll be an announcement all over the place that they found something tremendous. Well, they found a hinge. Did you see the hinge?
They found a hinge.
A hinge and a lock, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, a lock, and they've found those.
A couple pieces of
the wood
treasure
that's blocking the tunnels, not the tunnels, but the flood, things.
Yeah, this is a huge 5-foot piece of wood that was sort of, not gonna say man-made, but it was molded by men, and that was down like 100 and something feet.
So Douglas, this is,
so there is something going on.
This is what gets me about this show. Okay, so we're in the Mother Lode region here, which is the gold country.
Yep.
So men dug the Kennedy mine, which is just about a mile away from us right here, a mile down. Okay, a mile down.
Wow.
Okay, the Kennedy mine is a mile down, and it is so straight that you can stand at the bottom and look straight up, and you can just see the sun because it goes straight up and down. It's straight.
Right.
I mean, it's perfect almost. So, I guess man had, before there was machinery, had the technology to dig down. But how long would it have taken these guys to bury all this treasure, dig all these different levels, create all these booby traps? And I'm not saying it's not there, because who built the pyramids?
Right.
I put the pyramids, I put Oak Island as the 8th wonder of the world.
Well, these are sort of I don't know what to say, like pirates, right? Or I don't know.
Was it?
Who? I mean, the Knights Templar.
Who the hell wants to hide their stuff that bad?
Right, and if that's the case, are you ever even going to get it out to use it again? Like, what was the point?
That's what I keep thinking. Why are you going to go through this? Unless it was the Ark of the Covenant or the Holy Grail or something, and they were trying to hide it from whoever. But come on, guys, how long would it take you to devise the contraptions and think? And now where they had that they had the guy with Nolan's cross, and this goes here, and the boulders are there. And I think I told you this a few weeks back. There's a show called Redneck Rocket Scientist, and the host of that show was actually on that, and he was showing them that he had configured this overlay with the stars, and if you look up at the stars, you'll see that there's marks on the ground that coincide with it's like, come on. But they're saying now that I guess you don't want to leave a paper trail, so you use this point, but who'd they pass that along to?
Right.
I mean, does somebody know that somewhere and they're hiding?
Right, wouldn't they want somebody? Well, there's a little hint. There's another show that I think is pretty interesting. They dive into it, and they're getting stuff pretty quickly. The Lost Gold of World War II. Have you seen this one?
I'll tell you what.
What it was.
No, I've seen it, and it's like, and I kind of...
Well, they're in the Philippines. There's a Japanese general that allegedly, and there's a eyewitness that saw them do this, put into the when the Americans were coming to retake the Philippines, came and buried boxes of in tunnels and sealed. I don't know, it's got like explosives in there and booby traps and things. And already by the second show, they have a rock that has instructions on it as to where things could be and where the treasure is and is it a fake and whatever. And they went in there and they found, because of course it's much more recent. They found explosives. They found a booby trap that they disarmed. And so right away they're on to something already. So this one seems like it might be a little bit more of a. There's a rock there clearly with instructions that are in Japanese and in figures and things like that. But it's very complicated. Like this business of burying something and leaving a trail as to how to get to it. It's not the Goonies. I mean, this is complicated stuff. I don't know if that is for real. I don't know. But this rock has got all kinds of stuff on it. You got to see. So it is real that there was something going on up in the hills in the Philippines.
Did Kevin Burns sit across the table from you and say, touch you on the hand and say, Doug? Well, I don't want to get Joe Biden on you, but did he look you in the face and just say, Douglas? And just smile and shake his head, yes, like they found something.
He didn't say that, but he said
keep watching,
tuned.
Keep watching. Huh? Is that what he said?
He said, stay tuned. It will be worth the while. There's something that we found. Now, the thing is it that hinge? Is that it? And the big log, or not? But I mean, 100 feet down for a big log to be found like that's man-made, man-sculpted. Mm-hmm. There is a tunnel there.
Well,
now,
I was telling...
Is the treasure still there? That's the question.
Exactly. In fact, after we get done here today, I'll go out in our lobby out here. I'll take a picture of one of the mines and send it to you, and you will see at the bottom of the mine at one of the levels, the timbers that are holding up the mine are actually big round logs.
Right, this is kind of what they found.
And if people don't realize this, but all the growth around the Lake Tahoe area, that's all new growth because it was logged off. I mean, it was like stripped bare for the silver mines and the gold mines.
And so no one lived there. Nothing. It was just...
People don't realize that, but everything you see in Lake Tahoe Basin, that's all new growth since the silver mines because they stripped it to use it for underground reinforcement and stuff. But all I'm saying, I guess, is they haven't. they have kept my interest, and I
it's going to gain speed. I would say that.
But think of all the money. Think of all the money, and now the crane operators were on strike.
Right, yeah.
That was even a better. That was
just when they get to the point where they found this huge find.
Yeah.
For them, not a huge find for you and I, but a huge find for them. What about the Curse of the Civil War Gold? There's another one. That's a Kevin Burns one as well, with the Gaynor brothers. If that's coming back, have you seen that one?
Is that one coming back again? Because I saw. Is that the one where they go in Lake Michigan or Lake Erie?
Yeah, they're looking for Confederate President Jefferson Davis's loot that he smuggled, I guess, and took up to Lake Michigan, and they're diving down for it.
Are both Rick and Marty involved in that? Because I know
they say so on the promotions, but I only see Rick. I don't see Marty.
Because I think originally, didn't Marty meet with them? Remember, they had to convince Marty to invest in it, and then I don't know, because I guess maybe in the off season they can dig for. And I'm not making a joke on this because from what I understand that I've read, they only have permits for a certain time to dig on Oak Island, and
Correct.
Then they have to suspend it, and then the weather would also be too much. But here's another thing. Okay, so that Smith's Cove there, all that stuff they've uncovered is underneath the water level. They had to build that cofferdam to keep the water away.
Right.
How would people back in the day have done that?
Well, that's the question. Is that part of the booby trap? Is the water? Is there a tunnel that they opened up part of another tunnel that was the booby trap, and the booby trap was water. It's so complicated. How could somebody in this 18, 17, 16, no, I guess this is like 17, 16, and 1500.
Yeah.
How could they do all of this?
That's what I'm
time?
That's what I'm saying, Douglas. If you're on the run, okay, if you're the Knights Templar and you're on the run, because they were at that time, they were on the run. If you're on the run, how do you have time to devise all this and build all this and hide whatever you're going to hide, and then...
And the newest is they lined it up with the stars, and there are rocks, big rocks, boulders put down in certain spots, X marks a spot. I'm just curious to see if any of these theories... what about the one guy? You ever see the one guy in the back? He never says anything. He's got these, like, the son, I think, of one of the original diggers.
Yeah.
And he's in the back there. He's got the mustache, and he just sits there 100% of the time. And once a season, they'll turn to him and say, "What do you think? Should we go for it?" Go for it. He's just, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, yeah. In fact, I've looked at him and thought, I wonder if this guy is, well, never mind. I just, is he really with it? Do they just have him there because they're nice? And I
think he's a son of the original guy that really dug into all of that. So,
and he passed away.
And then he passed away. They barely announced it. They just put it on the end of the of the show. Maybe he passed away in between seasons.
Yeah, because I mean, this show is much like. Remember Axemen? Did you ever watch Axemen?
I never watched it, but I did see it.
Okay, well, Axemen is filmed, because the logging season is like, I believe, like May or June through like October, and so that they would film that during that time, and then work on it, and then it would come out in the spring. We'd see it in the second season. And that show, I have a number of friends that actually are loggers, and that one of them owns a logging company. And they said everything that happens in one episode of that show happens maybe in an entire lifetime of a logging operation.
Right.
Well,
so. That's sort of like the like these shows that show all these attorneys on trial all the time, and all the action and everything that's going on. Like The Verdict was realistic, but that was the one case he had in his life that he went to trial and had all of that happen. But they make it sound like and seem like you're going to trial like every 2 days on another case. They just for television they want to accelerate all that stuff. I don't know.
Just being in the media here and following different cases. Something. Well, we just had the one case was resolved. The person actually just accepted a plea deal. She was the owner of a pet boarding company that there was some. Anyway, that stretches all the way back to like 2016, 2017, and it just is resolved today. Okay, I mean, in the stories that we cover here on the radio, you just don't commit the crime and they arrest you, put you in jail, and you're tried on Monday. And you're
right,
out
and that's the
Friday.
crime stuff where you're supposed to have a speedy trial.
Yeah,
but I think the other litigation.
I mean, one of the most, and you may be able to confirm this, probably from what I've heard from other attorneys, one of the most real, real life drama type trial lawyer movies is My Cousin Vinny.
It's really not that bad. It really is, because it is things in the courtroom.
I thought I was going to
turn upon those little facts, not upon these big revelations like Perry Mason.
I thought I was going to get a big laugh out of you with that one.
The problem is, it's true. You can't laugh at it because it's exactly what it is. The little things, you didn't have your glasses on, or the window was dirty. You really couldn't see out of it, and whatever. So that's what it turns on. All these little facts. What can I tell you? All right. So we're not going to dive into the lost gold of World War II. Do we invest in that?
Are you?
Unfortunately, I'm already in.
Oh, you're in? Okay.
They sucked me in. I'm not going to do the Civil War one. I can't. I can't with the Leganas anymore. I'm done.
They broke my heart. They broke
not
my
yet,
heart.
But they're like that girlfriend that says yes to one date and no to another for like 7 years.
I think it's a great show of two brothers following through on something that they always wanted to do. They dreamt of when they were kids. There was, pirate's gold on this island, and they dreamt of finding it. And now they have the money, I guess, to do it.
They bought half that island, if not all of it.
Yeah, I think they bought all of it. So I don't know. There's, JD was saying the other day, why don't they just get some big type of earth, just start digging. Just start digging like a pit, just like pit mine, pit.
Well, the
thing.
guy in the 60s did that. You see that guy, remember?
Oh, that's right, huh? Yeah.
And he did a lot of that in probably the wrong spaces and whatever, and he allegedly, a lot of the clues are gone because he dug stuff up and just threw it out and all of this. So they're just trying to be careful. But I don't think they're allowed to do it. That the government is there looking over their shoulder. That one archaeologist, I think he is there from the government, lets them do things or not based upon their rules.
I believe it was Rick this week said that they were digging in. They mentioned it for the first time. I think this last show was that they were digging in untouched soil, because I think they realize that they're digging in places where people have already dug, and they're finding, like when they find the pottery and stuff like that down. I think it was some guy eating lunch and left his stuff, or someone threw something in threw
well,
in a hole.
The kick of it all would be they go down to this, 100 200 feet down, and they pull up some metal, and it turned out to be like a pocket watch from the 1930s, Some guy was down there already.
Yeah. Hey,
that's the bones down there. That's about it.
Right. Hey, what's up with tonight's show?
It's crazy. Well, I'll tell you, talk about, I don't know, people we've had on the show. We've had this Kevin Burns, who's behind, of course, the Curse of Oak Island. We've got Terry Winter, law school buddy of mine, who ended up writing and producing The Sopranos and creating and writing and producing Boardwalk Empire. We've had him on a couple of times already, but he's won an Emmy Award or awards. He's gotten 4 Emmy Awards actually for his participation in those shows, and now it's, believe it or not, the 20th year or 20th anniversary of the first episode of The Sopranos. We never really spoke to him about The Sopranos, so we took this opportunity to dig into what was it like to be in the writer's room? What were they thinking? What's the ending about? What is it like to create all these characters and all that behind the scenes stuff about the Sopranos? So we'll have Terry Winter on for the hour discussing the Sopranos from the inside.
I've heard that the star of the show, James, I can't think of it, Gandolfini?
No, is it? Yeah,
yeah, was not very easy to work with. That's what I've read.
Off the air, he's told us that, so that is kind of true. He was like a frustrated guy because he was older when he started his career, and he wanted to make up for lost time apparently, and had no success in anything really. If you look at the movies and things he was in prior to this, so this was his chance. So he was very particular. He wanted to make sure he got it right.
He was in a movie with Ben Affleck. The girl from Married with Children, I can't think of her name.
Right, okay, the blonde.
Yeah, the blonde. And Ben Affleck is like a millionaire, and he grew up in the house that this family lives in now. It's a Christmas show. Have you seen that one?
No, I've not.
It's done at Christmas, and he plays the dad, and he has a beard on, and they're a working class family. He does a really good job. I think he was a good actor.
Yes, it just never hit for him before the show, and even after the show, there was a couple of movies he was in, if you remember.
Yeah.
And they were just flops. They just didn't go anywhere. Yeah. The thing that bothers me about that show is, like, they mic up when they're eating, and they eat on every single episode. They mic up the chomping on the food like crazy. And it's like sitting at the dinner table and you want to tell your son, close your mouth when you're eating. What are you doing? Every single episode I get that. So
well, tonight at 6 o'clock and tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, you guys aren't going to be eating anything on the show, are you?
David Cohen, I used to do that a lot. I shut him down. I can't take it.
Everything Old is New Again with our good friend Douglas Viviani and his good friend David Cohen. So I'm still ready. I've been honing up. I've been reading the encyclopedia. I went to a yard sale, bought a whole encyclopedia set. I've been reading it. I'm ready for trivia again. So
all right, we'll do it this summer. Definitely this summer.
Anytime David wants to go back at it, but it can't be this modern stuff. What's the theme song to Firefly? Come on. I'm old. Right. I don't know that kind of stuff. So,
we'll do it. We'll limit it to like 60s and 70s and 80s, let's say, trivia.
There we go.
All right.
Hey, have a great show tonight, Douglas.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend.